Okay, so let's get started. This isn't in any particular order. However, we will try and do it in some form of order. The first up is the venue, and I've got a note here saying visiting wedding fairs is always a good idea as well to see the venue. But why would you book the venue first?
Well, you need to book your venue first because you need to know how many people you can have to your day.
Mm-hmm.
You need to know if they allow for accommodation for your guests, which some people that might have to be a must if you've got family travelling to, from afar. You also need to know if they allow to have a band or if you can only have a DJ, what the cut-off times are for your band and DJ or DJs, sorry.
Budget.
Your
if
budget.
You can afford it. So you've got to remember, unless it's a huge venue that have got multiple rooms, one main room, most of them have one wedding per day. So if they're booked up, you can't get the date. That's the main reason why as well.
And you also get some venues that have a minimum or a maximum of 50 people. Some places have a minimum of 100 people, as in like 100 day guests. So if you wanted a small intimate wedding, you're not going to choose the venue, I wouldn't imagine, that has a minimum of 100 guests. So you just need to go with how you have always seen your day panning out, because you don't want to then add an extra 50 people on to your day.
Next up, humanist or registrar or somebody who is the legal side of the marriage element.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you book them first?
Well, you need to book them because otherwise you've got no one to marry you. Some people might want to get married in a church, in which you would need to then go and visit priest or vicar within the area that you want to get married in. Your humanist, registrar and celebrant can marry you wherever you want to get married. So in Scotland, yes, sorry, not in England. In England, as far as I'm aware, it's still that you either have to get married in a church or a registered building, where in Scotland you can get married at the top of a mountain if you wanted to.
But there's only one of them. That's again, it's different with registrars and different going through the council because they've got a team of, so they will have multiple weddings on one day depending on who it is. But if you've got one particular person in mind, which up in Scotland it seems to be that you meet with your humanist or your celebrant and you like them because they're getting you married, and it's special.
Well, it becomes a personal thing, doesn't it? Because unlike if you get married in a church, with the certainly with the humanist wedding, and I'm sure probably with the celebrant, they get to know you. They tell little stories about how you met. It's a very personal service to you. It's not just the formalities and legalities.
And they've got one day. They've got one day that they can do it, unless it's a twilight wedding and a wedding, kind of an early wedding and twilight. I suppose that'd be the only option if they could get you, but it's doubtful. Let's go up this list then. The photographer or the videographer?
Not everyone has both.
No.
Most people will have a photographer, and some people put the videographer in at the end if it allows within their budget. But saying that, if you've not got them booked, then you're just kind of hoping that you can get the person that you want, because every photographer and every videographer has a completely different style.
I was going to say that.
And it all depends what style you want to go for, because if you liked, just as an example, documentary photos where they're quite natural and it's just taking parts of your day, but you're then not stuck, but you're then the only option is to book someone who does a traditional photography style. You're not going to be happy with your photos when you receive them back. So you really do need to have a shop around, look at what style you like, and
book early, because there's one of them as well. There's sometimes, I was talking to a photographer a couple of days ago, and there are cases now where there's I can't remember what you call it, a second shooter, yeah. But normally you've got one person, so if they're booked up on that day and you really like them and they've got a great repertoire of different weddings, and maybe your friends have done it, then you need to book them up early. And as Sam says, you've got different styles of weddings. You've even got a hipster, is it a hipster style or something?
Yeah, I mean, we're not the experts on these subjects.
But there is a video. There's a video coming up on that, on the different types of wedding photographers. So have a look at that on the list. But basically, it's one of them, and that's probably the key to this. The first things you need to plan. Basically, it's all around there is one of that person, yeah. And the next one of makeup, which is a big one.
Yeah. So this again is something that you need to get booked up quite soon, especially if you're planning on having your bridesmaids, your mum, your husband-to-be's mum, made up as well, because they need to know how many makeup artists and hairstylists they need to get in on the day. Another
one as well, when we've interviewed both hair and makeup experts for the key questions, and a lot of it as well, maybe not so much booking it up 12 months in advance, but it's actually starting to see who you want. Like, I mean, I've got 18 months. If you've got 18 months until your wedding day, then you can start looking and whittle it down to the person who you got on the most with, and then secure that date at least 6 months in advance.
Well, again, whose style you like.
Yeah.
Because you might want 50s glam, but the person
that's what I want.
You book, the person that you book doesn't specialise in that. This is just examples. So it's a bit like choosing anything. You're not going to choose a rock band if you're not into rock.
And that's the next one. So I might as well jump in, because they know the answer. DJ or band? That's the last one on the list.
Yeah, so you need to get.
We went for a rock band, didn't we? Yeah, DJ or band. There's only one of them as well. End of story. So the key to the message about the first things you need to plan is that it's all the important things that there's only one of, and if they get booked up, you're not having them. Venue, the celebrant, the photographer, the videographer, the hair and the makeup, and the DJ or the band. There's normally only one of them, and they're your key priorities right at the beginning of your wedding journey. Have I missed anything?
I don't think
so. So, like our page, Made It 94 Wedding on the Facebook. We've got loads and loads of videos that are coming up and have already been filmed on how to get the most out of your photographer, videographer, celebrant, florist, all of the major things in your planning journey. Dip in and out of them. Any questions, fire them across, whether it's on YouTube below. Subscribe to our YouTube page as well. And just, comment below, send us an email, whatever you want, but happy planning. Yeah?